Hey everybody, you are on the cutting edge and I'm Buck Wild. It's just more than 2 weeks until the midterm elections. If you're of a similar mind, you know that this will be one of the most important elections in our lifetime. I've put together a collection of recent stories. I hope that you'll find them interesting and that they will galvanize you to get out and vote on November 8th. Now let's get to the news. From the Gateway Pundit, researchers in Germany discovered evidence suggesting that a COVID vaccine-triggered autoimmune reaction may be the cause of myocarditis in 14 of 15 patients. That's a 93% chance of developing myocarditis from the jab. Even if it was just 50%, would you want to take that chance? Meanwhile, President Biden tells folks if they get the jab, they won't get sick, they won't go to the hospital, and they won't die. Who needs a disinformation board when the President of the United States is your biggest source of disinformation? From PJ Media, the Chinese Communist Party has established a network of Chinese police stations across the globe, including 3 in Toronto and 1 in New York City. It looks like the Chinese are using these police stations to keep an eye on anyone who disagrees with the government in China. Many Chinese nationals have been, quote, persuaded into returning home to face charges. So you may recall recently that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which supplied natural gas to Europe from Russia, was apparently sabotaged and blew up. And while they've been looking into it, nobody's admitted responsibility, though some folks are kind of looking sideways at the United States of America. Well, this story from the Gateway Pundit, back in 1982, the CIA sabotaged a Soviet pipeline in Siberia. U.S. software caused the explosion in the gas pipeline that was so large it could be seen from space. The Americans did not want the Europeans to purchase Soviet gas. On February 7th, 2022 of this year, Joe Biden said, if Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again, there will no longer be a Nord Stream 2, Biden said on NPR. Biden termed the Nord Stream explosions as sabotage. No kidding. Recall Biden's comments from earlier this month saying that the world was on the brink of Armageddon. I imagine that blowing up a pipeline which supplies Europe with natural gas doesn't lessen those chances at all, Mr. President. And on that note, from Zero Hedge, the Biden regime is buying up $290 million worth of anti-radiation drugs for use in, quote, nuclear emergencies amid escalating tensions with Russia and heightened threats of a nuclear war. I imagine that a nuclear conflict might give the party in power grounds for declaring martial law and even postponing any federal elections. Remember when the media kept saying that Donald Trump was going to get us into World War III? Well, now it looks like that it'll be Biden who gets that party started, and it appears that the media is completely okay with this. From the Huffington Post, I know, right? I had to scratch my head myself when I actually pulled one from their site. In March of 2020, the number of estimated gun sales skyrocketed by 80%, topping 2.3 million in a single month for the first time, according to data analysis from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the firearm industry's trade group. Some 8.4 million Americans bought their first gun in 2020, and another 5.4 million new buyers last year. Retailers reported major jumps in people of color, and women accounted for almost half of first-time gun buyers. Remember when Joy Behar said that gun laws would change once black people get guns? Well, Joy, I think that happened a long time ago, and good luck with that. By the way, that's a discriminatory remark if I ever heard one. And finally, just for kicks and giggles, Joe Biden was down at Fort Myers, Florida, surveying the damage done by the hurricane there, and he told a local mayor that no one F's with a Biden. Now, you know if Donald Trump had made that comment, it would be on the news 24/7. But let's look at who actually does F with a Biden. Number 1, Stairs. Stairs F with Joe Biden. Remember that graceful ascent up to Air Force One? Number 2, bicycles. Bicycles F with Joe Biden. The spot where Biden fell off of his bicycle was labeled on Google Maps as, quote, Brandon Falls. And number 3, OPEC. Yes, OPEC F's with Joe Biden. They decided to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day after Biden begged them to increase output rather than take advantage of the resources we have here at home, just to help him look good ahead of the midterm elections. We are still discussing the book of James at my church. I love that book. It's got a lot of insight and wisdom. In the meantime, however, I've started reading the minor prophets like Micah, Nahum, and Habakkuk. There are some great video teachings out there as well by teachers like Chuck Swindoll, Skip Heitzig, and Joel Richardson. These books are not long and the teachings are very insightful, particularly given the times that we're going through today. That's my 2 cents for now, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.